to Payback, a show that you wonder. Raw has not been doing good. It's not as good as Smackdown. We all know this. Smackdown is the show people care about. Smackdown is the show people want to watch. So, this pay-per-view really is important for them because they really need to start caring. Because as far as it goes, even though in a whole WWE is getting better ratings to a certain extent, it's on their so-called B show. Even though everyone considers it the A. So did Raw give us a better product? Here's my point of view of it. The kickoff show, let's put it in this perspective. Enzo and Kaz versus the club of Anderson and Gallows. Let's be honest. I don't care about Anderson and Gallows. Doesn't mean I don't care about them because they just are garbage. I just don't care about them because they just haven't been packaged. Look where they're at. They're on the kickoff. They were champions and now they're currently on the kickoff show. That shows how much Raw really appreciates them. Then you got Kaz and you got Enzo Amore, where I'm not upset 100% that the Hardys won the titles, but let's be honest. Shouldn't Enzo and Kaz have gotten the titles a while ago? They should have gotten at least 4 months ago. At least. They should have gotten the titles a while ago. And then it would have made more sense in this situation because they would have been both. Both teams would have been tag champs. But as it stands, they weren't. And they won the match. And what does it mean? That's the problem with Enzo and Kaz. Still entertaining. Enzo is one of the best talkers I see in the company right now. But what does it mean? Doesn't mean anything. Because simply they're meaningless. I'm sorry, they are. I do like them. But as long as they're not utilized, and worse yet, they should have already had the titles before the Hardys got it. What now? So, Miz TV with Finn Balor. I did a video on Finn Balor. And I said, if they package him right, and after about 5 or 6 years, he could become something good. As it stands now, he's a cruiserweight, being allowed to work in the regular title scene for the Universal title where he shouldn't be. He's not Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry. I know people are not going to like me. They're not going to like me for saying that Finn Balor is not Daniel Bryan. He will never be Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry. So seeing this does not interest me. Unless it's The Miz. Now, I'm not saying I don't like Finn Balor. I'm just saying that Finn is just not meant to be there right now. He has no reason to be there. Only because he was on NXT. Because people care about NXT. He doesn't have the right character. He doesn't have the right clothing. The only time when he's really interesting is when it's in a pay-per-view and he's dressed as the Demon. He needs to be the Demon all the time. Like The Undertaker, like Kane, like Bray Wyatt is always evil. Finn can't just come out in a leather jacket and just kick people's ass. He needs to be the Demon every time he goes into that ring and wrestles. That is what's going to make him interesting. You can't make it sparing. And I got to say this, and I may do a debate of the week on this. What would happen if The Miz left WWE? Because he is the most entertaining heel we've had in so long. Even with Finn Balor, he made it interesting. And in the end, he gets beaten up by Finn. But it doesn't diminish The Miz. But it really doesn't validate much for Finn Balor. I'm sorry. I know people love Finn, and I understand why. But he's not Daniel Bryan. He just is not Daniel Bryan. He wasn't packaged as Daniel Bryan. Even though he came up in NXT, he's not Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan won people over not because he came up from NXT. It's because he won them over with good development, good character, good ring work. Finn's got good ring work. His character is questionable. And he wasn't brought up like Daniel Bryan. He wasn't pushed the same. So, let's go to the main roster. I'm going to start with the match that I cared the least about. And that was Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Now, I know you're saying, what? There's a great story behind it. Yes, there is. I understand that. But here's the problem for me. Seth Rollins should have lost at WrestleMania. I know a lot of people say, what? No, yes. He wouldn't have been given any type of problems if he lost at WrestleMania. In fact, it would make his story even more profound if he had to even dig deeper. Because it stood as it stands, as it went, even with the injury to his knee again, it wasn't a strong enough story. It just wasn't. He should have lost at WrestleMania so it would give something good in the future between him and Triple H again. And then you got Samoa Joe. Look, between Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins, I love Samoa Joe. Not that I don't like Seth Rollins. He's not bad. But Samoa Joe is more better developed, more better sponsored, more of a better wrestler than Seth Rollins is. Seth is a good wrestler, but Samoa Joe is a great wrestler. Not just because he can do holds and jump up all over the place. It's because he thinks. He is a ring general. Seth Rollins is not. And that on top of that, how many matches has... Calm yourself. Samoa Joe, how many matches? 3, 4 matches so far? This was his real first pay-per-view that I saw that was just about him. And he loses to Seth Rollins. He loses. He loses. I know he had a match with Roman Reigns. Yes, I know. But this wasn't about Raw. This wasn't about Smackdown. This was a pay-per-view, which is his first general pay-per-view without anyone backing him up, without having someone there like Triple H or a Kevin Owens or anyone else. It was just about him. And he jobs. I just didn't feel like it was important for him to job. Even though Seth won at WrestleMania, he could have jobbed here. He should have jobbed here, but Samoa Joe jobbed, and it just seems wrong. Austin Aries versus Neville. Now, this was a surprise match for me. Seeing how Neville won was actually not a bad thing. Using the ref, basically touching the ref, and pretty much disqualifying himself, yeah, that's a chicken chip type of heel, but it doesn't mean that Neville had done it every single time as he's been in a match. Neville is like Braun Strowman. He's the Braun Strowman of the cruiserweights. He basically can destroy you in the ring. He has destroyed people in the ring. He didn't need to always go to underhanded tactics to beat you. He was that damn good. And it's alright once in a while he's done it. So in this respect, seeing that Neville won wasn't too bad, but here's the problem. Usually when they do something like this, that means Austin Aries or anyone else is going to win maybe at Raw or 205 Live. And I'm going like, why couldn't you just give him the win there and then have the war after that? I'm alright with him winning, but if he's going to drop the strap, either this Monday or this Tuesday, I just feel like it's not necessary. You could have just dropped it here, even though it was a good way to do it. And I just love Austin Aries. He's just a great wrestler. He's got charisma. He's a great wrestler. He's a great ring general. All around great. He's somebody that easily could fit the Daniel Bryan mold. I'm sorry. You compare... Calm down. You compare Finn Balor to an Austin Aries. There is no 100% question Austin Aries is better than Finn. Even though he is smaller than Finn, he's better than Finn. And he could be the one that can go after Universal, IC Champion, or U.S. title. Now, let's go to the U.S. title. We got Chris versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. Now, I wasn't sure how they were going to do this. Because as it stands, I did want Chris Jericho to go to Smackdown Live. I felt it was time for him to go there. Because he's done his stint in Raw. He needs to move on to SmackDown. People would love him even more on SmackDown than they would love him on Raw. And it was a good match. Just like what happened to Austin Aries and Neville. It wasn't as great as Austin Aries and Neville, not because it was high flying. But in this case, it was only about the title, not about the story. That's the way it is. And in the end, Chris Jericho won. Chris won that match. So he's now going to SmackDown Live. That makes me incredibly happy. Yes! 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 We're going to have Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho on the same show. Now, does that mean that's good in the respect that they're going to keep working together? Well, they're going to have to do something together for a little while. And I'd rather see Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho than Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't stand those two together right now because they overplayed it, and I still say it clearly. Sami Zayn's story sucks. His character sucks. It just does. He doesn't tell a good story. He needs a new character. Is he good in the ring? Yes, but he needs a new character. Let's move on. You know what? I'm going to get this over with right now. The Smackdown World Heavyweight title, or WWE title, for Smackdown Live. You got 2 matches in one when it came to Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton. I was not sure how to feel about this. At first, I thought it was going to be in ring, but now it was in a house, which I thought, yes, this is something that's good. Do something different. Don't always do it in a freaking arena. Do it somewhere different. So what did we get? They actually did it in an old abandoned house somewhere. I don't care where. It's an old abandoned house. They trashed the place, and it had a little bit of a vibe of a movie. It's obvious. It felt like a movie. I think they were kind of biting off of Lucha Underground. I don't watch the show, but I do know how the style of Lucha Underground is, and this felt like a Lucha Underground type of style, which I felt was pretty well stylized. Was it a good fight well, the house fight was good. Seeing that Bray Wyatt trying to throw that refrigerator on top of Randy Orton, I couldn't get the shot, unfortunately, unless I can find a way to get the shot, but I didn't get it. But it seemed unrealistic because you didn't see a lump on the floor like they said, oh, Randy Orton stuck under a refrigerator. Well, it would be him under a refrigerator if it seemed to have a little bit of a lump on the side. Let's be honest. It was flat. He wasn't trapped under it. And then when Bray Wyatt drove to the arena saying, you got the whole world. And I have this thing in my face, in my hand, in his hand. But he's saying himself. Goes to the ring. Randy Orton is in the arena before him with a steel chair. Wasn't believable. It wasn't believable for the simple reason it would have been better if he came from where the fans were. Kind of like how the Shield was. If he came down from the fans area, like Roman Reigns did, it would actually be more surprising. It would actually be something interesting. I would have wanted to see that. So when it came down to it in the match afterward, and then the subsequent beatings, and then the Bollywood boys coming out, then Jinder Mahal whacking, and I think he legitimately, Jinder, I keep pronouncing Jinder's name as Ginger. I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I have that tendency. But Jinder hitting the back of the head of Randy Orton with that title, I think he legitimately hit him a little too hard because he legitimately seemed like he was in pain. So Jinder nails Randy Orton. So that means Jinder now has to go up against Bray Wyatt at Backlash, which also means that when it comes down to it, it could be a 3-way dance. In other words, a triple threat. Or you're going to see Randy Orton try to take out Jinder before that match happens. Just because he screwed him so badly with his own title. Hard to say. Title match for the women. Look. Don't hate Bayley. I don't hate Alexa Bliss. I felt that it was the wisest thing to do for Alexa Bliss to win this. The problem I have with Bayley is this. Bayley, the last couple of months, has been booked better than she was when she first came on to Raw. It is obvious she has been booked better. But that's the problem. She's been booked very badly in the beginning, then has been booked better now, and the worst thing about the entire situation is Bayley has almost no one to wrestle. That was the thing that got me. Bayley is now champ. And the worst thing is that she has almost no one to go up against. Yes, she has Nia Jax. She has Alexa Bliss. She's going to now have Mickie Jane. She still has Sasha Banks to deal with. Yes, she has those people to deal with. But that's it. That's it. We need more women. I wish each roster would have about 14 women on each. Then you can mix it up. We really need more women on Raw. We need more women on Smackdown. And even though it is now with people that, well, let's be honest, Alexa Bliss is not bad as a champ. She came from Smackdown. People liked her on Smackdown, even though she was people that hated her because she was a heel. That was the purpose. I'm alright with having a sawed-off little run as a champ. But the person who really needs to get the title eventually will be Nia Jax. Because she's the biggest person there that needs to hold it, so everyone else has got to fight. But that's just me. The next one. Title match for the... Love me the Hardys. Sheamus and Cesaro, I'm alright with. The thing that got me really happy about this title match... Delete! 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 I don't know if they actually settled the case against Impact Wrestling, but you could easily see that Matt was playing into the delete thing. I don't know if he's allowed to do that. He probably isn't, but on this show he wanted to do it, or maybe he did settle it, and now they're going to start showing more attitude to it, because when you saw them talking to each other, doing a little promo, well, a little backstage segment, and then you can see talking to the Golden Truth, you can see Matt going, yes, I can't wait to face them, yes. And then he's going, delete, delete, delete. That makes you think maybe they settled the case. Or at least they're about to settle the case. Or Matt may just say, fuck it, I don't care, I'm going to do it no matter what. I don't know. But the crowd was into seeing Broken Matt Hardy on WWE's Payback doing delete, delete, delete. In the end, the Hardys win. And then I thought, and this is the thing, because you see Jeff Hardy grab the ring rope and push it so Matt can win. And then that makes you think, okay, Jeff just cheated to save his brother. So does that mean the Hardys are about to turn heel? In fact, it would make sense to turn them heel. Because seeing that Sheamus and Cesaro felt cheated because of what just happened, they're basically faces still. And now the battery died. But essentially, I'm alright seeing the Hardys turn heel as long as you make it real. Because you're turning... Cesaro and Sheamus are basically faces, and they're angry because the Hardys cheated at one point during the match. That's the way I see it. Let's see here. Am I forgetting anything? Did Austin Aries. I did the US title. I did Finn Balor. Okay, this is the last thing to talk about. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. I did my Raw review mini prediction, saying there was a great chance that Braun Strowman would not win, and it would be surprising if they did that, because then that means they're trying to build Braun Strowman up for Brock Lesnar. And then they'll probably build up Roman Reigns throughout the year to get him ready for WrestleMania 34 next year. I wasn't sure they were going to do that. I really thought they were going to make Braun Strowman job here. But get this, they didn't. Braun Strowman literally destroyed, not beat Roman Reigns, destroyed Roman Reigns. They made this man the ultimate monster killer. Because we're talking about Brock Lesnar and a possible match between these two at SummerSlam in, what is it, August 20th of this year is SummerSlam. That means they're going to be building Braun Strowman up for Brock Lesnar. That is a surprise and a half to see. The way that Braun Strowman destroyed Roman Reigns, beat the crap out of him, and most of the match you could see that Roman Reigns was putting up a good fight. And I'm fine with that. But then when you literally saw him lose his match, I'm going like, oh sheesh. Are you serious? They're actually letting him job here. I truly believe they were going to let Braun Strowman job because they really wanted to build some real how can I say this when it comes to Roman Reigns? Because he's been booked so badly as a face. So badly. Because it's not that his persona is bad. It's just how they booked his persona that's truly bad. Because he's acting like a heel. He should be a heel. They make him a face and everyone hates him because he's a face and he was shoved down our throat. That's why people hate him. And with Braun Strowman destroying him, using the steps, not only to whack him in the chest, but also to throw him on top of it, and then he's bleeding out of the mouth, he was destroyed. And that was great. And you could hear the San Jose, what was it? San Jose, yeah, is it San Jose crowd. I was forgetting where San Jose, California was. That crowd was cheering for Braun Strowman. When they realized he was near the end of defeating him, they were cheering their heads off. Doesn't mean they didn't cheer for Roman Reigns like John Cena. Let's go Roman, Roman sucks. They were doing that. But by the time it was over, the ones who truly hated Roman Reigns ran supreme. They were screaming in joy that he was destroyed. And when he walked away, and Roman Reigns had to crawl out of that ring with no medical attention until he got to the fans. And that was, and I gotta admit that was the wisest thing that the WWE could have done. To let Roman Reigns walk to where the fans were and not just be carried out on a stretcher and then take it to the back. He had to actually walk over there, wait a bit, still fake blood in his mouth, and they had to say, you need this, come on. He said, no, I'll walk out on my own. This made, literally, it made Roman Reigns look like a tough guy, but he was defeated, and it made everyone happy, and it also gives it two things. One, Braun Strowman's strength to defeat Brock Lesnar to get the Universal title. Then it makes Roman Reigns look good, because even though people still don't like him, they still hate his guts. But there's a good possibility he will get a little more sympathy. Doesn't mean he'll win over the crowd as a face. It's not going to happen. I'm saying it now. He's still not going to win over the crowd. He needs to be a heel. And if they're still going to push him as a face, he still won't get anywhere. But he will get a little more traction as a face. Doesn't mean he'll be over as a face. People will not want him. They'd rather boo him. They hate him. They'd rather boo the guy. And if the WWE still won't turn him heel, he's always going to be on that precipice of here where he should be a face, but here is where he should be a heel. That's where he's going to be. He's always going to be here. He'll never be here. But this is just my point of view for the entire show. And let's say the show was, it wasn't bad. They did try to do something better than Smackdown did. But it wasn't bad at all. You guys have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.